Welcome everybody to Tay's NFL Pitch, where we pick your NFL games for week number 2. Let's jump into it. First and foremost, we want to send our prayers and condolences out to Tua Tagovailoa, who suffered an injury in Thursday night's game against the Buffalo Bills. It was a pretty bad injury, a pretty bad concussion that he suffered. And, you hate to see a player go through anything like that. This is a very physical and tough game, but just prayers out to him and his family. I hope he gets better. We're going to cool down the talk on retirement and all of that nonsense. Just let the man heal first, and then let's see where we go after that. But prayers out to Tua and his family after that concussion. All right, let's jump into our games this week. Last week we went 9-6 in our opening week. That's right, 9-6 is pretty damn good in my book. So we're gonna go ahead and try to be better here in this week number 2. And we got a little sample size of what everybody looks like. So let's jump into our games. First up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. And Lamar Jackson and those Ravens, they looked pretty good last week, man, against Kansas City, the Super Bowl defending Kansas City Chiefs. And so, I like what they did defensively, but I did not like what they did offensively and the offensive scheme that they at least brought to Kansas City. Lamar shouldn't be running the ball that much, and I think that was a one-off against Kansas City. You went out, you got Derrick Henry in the offseason so that you don't have to have Lamar run and put him in those situations. And so, they need to utilize Derrick Henry this week. I think they understand that. This is the Las Vegas Raiders who look, pretty, mediocre and pedestrian last week. Gardner Minshew is Gardner Minshew, right? Davante Adams, he was pretty frustrated, and you can just tell that this is not a playoff team, at least not yet, and I don't see them being a playoff team going forward. So give me Baltimore in this one. Let's just say Baltimore by 2 touchdowns. How about that? All right, moving on to game number 2, we got the LA Chargers going against the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. All right, the Chargers, hey, they look just like a Jim Harbaugh team would look, and we called it last week. They were physical, they were tough, they were nasty in the trenches, and they ran the ball down the throat, man. And so, look, I think you see more of that this week. They were efficient, didn't turn the ball over that much, and I like what J.K. Dobbins is doing. And so, against a Carolina team this week, which they look terrible, I would have to say that this is probably the worst team that I saw last week in week number 1. Bryce Young, he's got to show us some promise here in the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, there's going to be people saying, hey, he's not an NFL quarterback. I promise you that. So I want to see some more out of Carolina, but I do see the Chargers getting this win in Carolina. So give me the Chargers against the Carolina Panthers. All right, game number 3. New Orleans Saints, who put up 47 against those same Carolina Panthers, taking on the Dallas Cowboys, who had a pretty damn good game themselves against the Cleveland Browns, who we'll get into in just a minute. But Dallas coming off that big win, you saw Dak get his contract right before the game, and so he had to be hyped about that. They got to give you some more juice to know that you're getting the most guaranteed money in NFL history. So I do expect Dak to come out strong this week. They are playing at home. It's a noon game, and New Orleans, look, they did what they were supposed to do, right? If you're a playoff team, you're supposed to beat up on the mediocre teams. And, I love what they did. So it's going to be a close one, but give me Dallas in this one in a close game. Give me Dallas by 7. But I'm going to tell you right now, Cowboys, you're going to be 2-0 going into week number 3. Do not start talking about this is our year, this is Super Bowl. You heard it last year. You saw how much of a dumpster fire it was at the end of the season. Enjoy the win, man. Just enjoy the win. And as long as you enjoy the win, everything else will come to pass. But don't celebrate too soon, Dallas. All right, moving on. Game number 3, we had Tampa Bay at the Detroit Lions. All right, Tampa Bay looking very good last week. We had Baker Mayfield. He was slinging the rock all over the place, getting it out to Mike Evans, getting it out to Chris Godwin, getting it out to his running back and his tight ends, man. He was putting the ball everywhere that it needed to be put. And so, pause. But taking on the Detroit Lions in Detroit is going to be a tough ask, man. We saw the Detroit Lions beat up on the LA Rams enough to where the LA Rams, they don't even have a good O-line right now. You should see the shuffling that they're doing on their O-line right now, but we'll say that here for a few more minutes. Detroit, man, they are physical again this year, and they looked every bit of the Super Bowl team that we thought that they would look like. So I'm going to go ahead and surprise you guys. Give me Tampa Bay in the upset on this one. That's right. yeah, put your eyebrows back down. I'm taking Tampa Bay in this one over Detroit in a close one. Give me Tampa Bay by 3 points. All right. Moving on to our next game, we have the Indianapolis Colts at the Green Bay Packers. And Indy, man, look, they lost, but they played hard. They played physical. And I liked how Anthony Richardson looked majority of that game. They came up just short. It was a divisional game, but you know what? That 67-yard bomb, you can see the talent is there with Anthony Richardson. But can they put it together this year and take that team a little bit further than what they had the last few seasons? I don't know, man, but going into Green Bay without Jordan Love over there in Green Bay, it's going to be pretty promising, man. Green Bay, they're looking for quarterbacks this week, and it's hard to they say Jordan Love is week to week, but I think this is a multi-week injury, and that's why you go out and you go look for some quarterbacks right now. Otherwise, why do you even look? If you don't trust your backup, or if you do trust your backup. So in this game, go ahead and give me the Colts at Green Bay, man. Anthony Richardson, he brings that team to 1-1 and keeps them in playoff contention. All right, moving on to our next game. Jacksonville is hosting the Cleveland Browns at noon, and Deshaun Watson, there's no other way to put it. Look, if he doesn't want to lose this NFL job, I'm not saying a starting job. It'll be a benching this year, but beyond that, man, he might be cut and gone if he does not come out and perform well, especially against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are very mediocre. They're a very mediocre team. All right, let's just keep it a buck. They played Miami, and we saw what Miami looked like, in Thursday Night Football. Jacksonville, to me, is a middle-of-the-road team. So if they're looking to go to the playoffs and Doug Peterson to stay off the hot seat, they've got to come out and perform well, just like Deshaun Watson does. I think it's going to be more Jacksonville performing well than Deshaun performing well. And you know what? I'm looking to see Jameis Winston by week 3. So go ahead and give me the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Cleveland Browns. And also, as a little nugget as well, give me Jameis Winston in week number 3. All right, moving on to our next game. We have the bullies of the NFC, the San Francisco 49ers, taking on the Purple People Eaters. That's right, Minnesota Vikings, man, who looked real good with Sam Darnold last week. I told y'all, man, they were going to play tough. They were going to play hard this week, and that's exactly what they came out and did and got the dub, putting up, I think it was like 37 points. And so you saw San Fran against the Jets, who were supposed to be have a really good defense, and that just didn't look like it. You saw the running back, man, he ran all over that team. And for Christian McCaffrey not to be there last week, nor is he going to be there this week, I still think that schematically Kyle Shanahan gets the job done. So give me San Fran over Minnesota. I like what they're doing. And, give me San Fran to go 2-0 in this NFC West. All right, moving on to another NFC West team. We have the Seattle Seahawks at the New England Patriots. Oh, man, 1-0 for both of these teams. Both teams got the dub last week. New England getting it against Cincinnati. And, even though Jacoby Brissett did not look that well throwing the ball, he got the job done. So, they are 1-0. They got the first win, and they look good. I'm not gonna lie, they look pretty good. But Seattle, they also look good as well. And they had to come back. They didn't look good in the first half, but they got some things tightened up. They made some good adjustments. And I do like Mike McDonald at the helm, coaching that team. So in this one, Seattle is traveling to the East Coast. We know West Coast teams don't do that well on the East Coast. And this is a noon game. So this is an early game, man. And you know what? Give me Seattle. Give me DK Metcalf and give me Geno Smith to go ahead and do a 1-2 punch there in New England. All right, moving on to our next game, the New York Jets against the Tennessee Titans. All right, Tennessee, we know that they have a running game. We know that they have an O-line. I don't know if Will Levis is there yet or not, but he did show some promise last week. And, they look pretty good, but they let off the gas and saw the Chicago Bears come back and beat them. So they're sitting there at 0-1. The New York Jets, man, all that talk about the defense is supposed to be great. Everything is supposed to be good when Aaron comes back, and we saw the complete opposite. Aaron looked very mediocre, middle of the road type quarterback. Now it is week 1, but I'm gonna tell you, there's gonna be ebbs and flows with Aaron this week. You're gonna see glimpses of the old Aaron, but you're also gonna see glimpses of old man Aaron. Okay, and I think you see more of the latter here the first few weeks. But in this one, give me the Jets, and the Jets can ill afford to go 0-2. So give me the Jets over the Tennessee Titans. All right, moving on to our last early afternoon game is the New York Giants taking on the Washington Commanders. Look, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the Giants. They were terrible, so they're not worth my time of speaking on too much. But, man, look, if you got to bench Danny Dimes in the first half of this game because he's not playing well, then you need to go ahead and do that, Brian Dable, because next up, your job is going to be on the line. I think he's on the warm seat. We're not going to say he's on the hot seat, but he's on the warm seat. And if Daniel Jones don't come back and perform well in this game, as bad as he played in week number 1, man, go ahead and give me the Italian stallion over there, man. And look, they're taking on Washington in Washington, and those fans are hyped to see Jayden Daniels in person. He looked pretty good last week. I don't like him running as much. I think he took some chances, a little bit too risky. But he went ahead and got 2 touchdowns. He ran the ball, threw the ball. I like what I saw out of Jayden Daniels. And so in this one, go ahead and give me Washington at home against the Giants. All right, moving on to our next game, which is the first afternoon game, going on at 3 o'clock, is my LA Rams taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona came up just short. Remember, that was our upset pick last week against Buffalo, but they came up just short. But now they're at home this week. They're hosting the Rams, and the Rams, like we said, they have O-line issues. When you have O-line issues, man, the defense, they can get after it. What I do like is Sean McVay, and I do believe in Sean McVay, and he can get the job done. So even though they're down Puka Nacua, man, who's on injured reserve, and he's out for the next few games as well, I do like what Sean McVay schemes up schematically. So go ahead and give me the LA Rams at Arizona this week. All right, moving on to a rematch. We expected Russ to be playing in this game, but we're going to see Justin Fields and the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Denver Broncos. All right, I like what Bo Nix did last week. He kept his team in the game, and he gave them a shot in the end. He missed some passes, but he made some passes that were on target that he needed to make late in that game to just kind of, give me more confidence that he's going to be the man over there in Denver. Now, on the other side, Justin Fields, he took advantage of the time that he was given. Had a fumble, the first or second snap that he took, and, he recovered from that and played well the rest of the game. I don't like how he threw the ball. Everything was short. Let's just say they had the right game plan and they got the job done. Now, going into Denver, give me Denver in this one. I'm still going to say Bo Nix and Sean Payton get it done, but the only way that Denver's going to win this game, what's going to be the factor in this one, is if Denver can push the ball down the field. Everything Bo Nix was, everything that he was running outside the 2 minutes was, it was very short. It was the short passes and nothing really intermediate or deep. So to me, they got to throw the ball a little bit deeper, and give me Denver in this one over the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, 3 more games to go. We got the Cincinnati Bengals. Jamar Chase talking about they're the best team. They are the team to fear in the AFC, going against the Kansas City Chiefs, who is the real team that you should be fearing, the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. All right, I'm going to just say flat out, Kansas City looked great and Cincinnati didn't. All right, until Cincinnati gets it together, give me KC. Somebody's got to show me that they can beat KC, because they look, I don't want to say unstoppable, but they have all the right pieces for an Andy Reid team. All right, speed, size, and you got Pat Mahomes over there, of course. So give me Kansas City in this one against the Bengals. All right, we got Houston hosting the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams did not look good at all, folks. I think the speed of the game kind of caught up to him. I think it was a little, he ain't had his NFL moment yet, but he got a little taste of how much of a difference the NFL is from college. And so going into a Houston environment that is going to be very raucous, very just wow. Seeing CJ Stroud come back. This is their first time seeing him back since they went on the playoff run last year. I like what CJ Stroud is doing this year, man. Stephon Diggs, he looked good. I like what the defense is doing. They got some things that they do need to tighten up, but man, Nico Collins is playing great. Tank Dell, everybody across the board is doing well. Give me Houston over the Chicago Bears in this one to go 2-0. And I think Houston, unless barring injury, I think Houston is making a run to the AFC Championship. All right, Last game of the day last game of the week will be the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Philadelphia Eagles at the Link on Monday Night Football. Man, Philly looked good last week. Saquon Barkley, what can you say? He was a stud across the board, racking up 3 touchdowns, and he killed me in my fantasy league, man. And, the guy I was playing against, I was like, whoa, come on, man. Like, you gotta do me like that, Saquon. Come on, man. And the Giants, look, I don't feel bad at all for the Giants. They get what they deserve. Letting Saquon go like that, treating him the way they treated him in the offseason, man. And Atlanta, they brought in Kirk Cousins to change the culture there and to change that quarterback situation. Kirk looked still like he was, still thinking about that Achilles injury. And so it didn't look very good for Kirk. I do expect him to have a better bounce back game, but just understand it might take Kirk a few games to go ahead and get situated and get comfortable with that injury or coming back from that injury. But in this one, man, Philly's playing at home. They look very tough. Give me Philly. But I'm going to tell you this, what I didn't like in Philly's win last week against the Green Bay Packers, when things got ugly early on, you saw some stuff on the sideline, and that didn't sit too well with me, especially coming off the year that they had last year. And so we'll see how they come out again this week. I do believe that they'll go 2-0, and, I like Philly all day by 2 touchdowns. And so that is our picks for this NFL week. Man, I hope you enjoy them. If you have any predictions, any picks of your own, go ahead and post them on my page, man. Post them under the comments. And, let's get this thing rocking. 9-6 last week. We'll be better this week. Tay's picks for week number 2.